Hi everyone, my name is Colleen. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, this channel has a little bit about everything on planners, pens, fountain pens in particular, but really a lot of pens. You'll see some in today's video. And my newest thing is plants. Now, I did not intentionally become a plant mom. This was more like a gift to me from a friend, and they are amazing. So I'm so thankful to my friend. It has really freshened up the place, and I love having all these plants. So we'll do a plant tour on another video coming up, especially while they all still look so beautiful and healthy since they came from her. All right, so today's video is about the stationery items that I bought on our trip to Thailand. Now, um, the particular trip that we had, we ended up changing a few days out of it. We couldn't travel to southern Thailand. I was really hoping to go to the loft in Hat Yai, but we weren't able to go there or the area where our daughter had lived because there was such a bad flood just 1 to 2 weeks before we got there. So things were flooded. People were evacuating to Bangkok. Some of my girls' friends were evacuated to Bangkok by military boat and then transport. So it got pretty scary down there. So we ended up on the tail end of monsoon season, which typically ends mid-November. And we didn't plan to get there till the 1st of December. But we ended up bumping that even by a few days because some areas of the country still didn't have power and other things like that. So anyway, it ended up being a great trip. So my first stop was the airport in Hong Kong. In particular, it was called Terminal 1. So I had kind of done some scoping out ahead of time because I knew we were going to have a long layover. It ended up being an overnight layover in Hong Kong. And so there was this amazing shop there that sells Moleskine. And it was amazing because these particular ones are only available in Hong Kong. So I was glad to see this, but I wish I had gone with my gut and gotten the smaller version. I'll show you some pictures here of things that they had in the shop. There's nothing different inside the notebook itself. It's like a cream type paper. It is ruled, and then it just immediately starts into the notebook. So I've seen some other destination Moleskine notebooks, and they kind of have like a little bit of interesting information about that location. But in this particular version of the Hong Kong notebook, it doesn't. So I don't know if the smaller ones were any different. I wish I had had a chance to look at them in more detail, but they didn't have any of them open, and they didn't allow us to open any of them to see the inside. I know someone's going to ask me, so here's the sticker. It is the yellow version that is in the back of this. So for those who are fountain pen users. Now, one warning. Let me show you something. So this is the store I bought it at. So this is the store that I bought it at. And on the receipt, you'll see it lists 2 items. That bottom item says large customization, front or back. There is no customization whatsoever on this notebook that says Moleskine. So I got charged for something that didn't even exist. So it's on me. I didn't look at the receipt when I got it from her, but when I convert that to US dollars, it was about $8 for something that I didn't even have done. So that was a little frustrating. But the notebook is beautiful. I'm glad I got it. I mean, how many times am I in Hong Kong? For me, this was my first time, maybe my only time. We'll see. The other thing I got at the Hong Kong airport to put into my, sorry, I got to figure out what direction to put this stuff in. The other thing I got at the Hong Kong airport was this sticker for my traveler's notebook. So it's a vinyl sticker, but I know it'll look great. I'm actually planning to put this on, I've changed my story. I'll show you in a moment. I was originally going to put this on the cover because I was just going to use a plain craft cover for my trip to Thailand, but I found something better. So I'll be sharing that at the end of this video. The next stationery items I didn't have to buy, and I'm so thankful my aunt was willing to give them to me. They had these huge postcards in the desk drawer at our hotel. So I traveled with my aunt, and this was her dream destination and hotel. She had never stayed at the Peninsula Hotel before, and so she said, we are staying here. So she let me keep the postcards out of the desk drawer there because she knows I love to scrapbook things. So I have to thank her so much. This is the pool area, and they have the cute little like Thai huts. I'm not sure what this is. The back of these postcards don't do a very good job in telling us what these items are, but I'm assuming this might be the Grand Palace there in Bangkok. That was not far from where we were staying. We got to tour the outside of it. We went during a national holiday. I think it's called the King's birthday is the time period that we were in Bangkok. So some things were closed. Because of also the Queen had died just a couple months ago. And so they're also like in this period of mourning. So it's kind of a interesting way the different celebrations are being set up right now in Bangkok. In the morning, we took a boat tour, and it was really hot on this particular one because the water levels are so high on the river right now. So we had to wait for them to lower the water level. Then the boats could pass through these gates, these floodgates, and then we could continue on to the passage. So at every gate, we probably had to wait about 15 or 20 minutes. They would line up about 5 to 6 boats all at one time, and then we'd all go through the floodgate together at the same time. But on that tour, we went to an area called Artist House, Bangkok. And if you're a crafty person like me, you definitely don't want to miss that area. It's so cute, so many handcrafted items. You can make your own custom bracelet while you're there. There's so many things you could do there. You can paint while you're there. It's just this like open forum of everything creative. The locals as well as tourists both kind of converge at this location, and there's tons of food. So there I bought this sticker sheet, and it's just beautiful. So some of these, for example, this one here, I really love because that bridge, let me get my face out of the video. That bridge is actually at the Artist House. And so I'll put some video of that here. This here is an actual view that you get on that specific boat tour. Another day when we went down to Hua Hin, we did the Lotus boat tour. So I'll put a brief clip of that here. You'll see some more of these videos in more long form when I do my traveler's notebook. And then there were just so many cute little watercolor stickers on here. So it's not the fanciest printout, and I'm sure if water got on it, it would totally smear these stickers, but they're going in a journal, and I got it at the Artist House. So I was really happy to be able to find these there. So one of my favorite places that we visited while we were in Bangkok was next door to our hotel. So it's neat because next to the peninsula is on this river, Chao Ray River. What is it called? I didn't write it down. So there's this river that the peninsula is in front of, and they have these cute little boats that will shuttle you from the Peninsula Hotel over to Iconsiam. There's also another hotel across the river called Mandarin Oriental. We had high tea there. They also have shuttle boats. So it's amazing. You can go there day or night, but I really recommend nighttime because they have a water fountain show at Iconsiam that is very similar to like something you would see in Las Vegas, goes to music, and it's just beautiful. So Iconsiam is famous for a lot of Korean artists and Japanese artists, music artists, as well as TV stars, movie stars, all do like their signings and fan meetup visits in Thailand there at Iconsiam. And many of them stay at those hotels, the Peninsula or the one attached to the Iconsiam mall. There is a hotel there as well, and then Mandarin Oriental. A lot of events, special events like the New Year's celebration was aired from Iconsiam over CNN here in the States this year. So it's a really interesting place to visit. And about, I don't know, there's a whole floor, maybe even more, of that mall is stores from Japan. So I was really excited. There's also a Starbucks Reserve on the top floor, and that's amazing to view the drone show as well as some fireworks shows. You can go up to the top of Starbucks Reserve for that. So the items that I got there. So my first stop was MUJI. So MUJI and Loft are next door to each other in Iconsiam. And the first thing I found was this. So you've probably seen this, but in a different color here in the States. You can get it on Amazon in cream or black. So that's why I specifically got this one called Moss Green. It was in Thailand. I have not seen it on the site for MUJI USA. I only saw this color in Thailand. So that's why I grabbed it. I wished I had also grabbed the smaller one. They had a smaller one that would fit, say, traveler's notebooks, but I knew, the practical side of me was like, I know I'll use this size for sure. This is the A5 size. So many pockets. You've probably seen a lot of videos on this one here on YouTube already. This is even a pocket that you get to from the inside, and you can put whatever you want to show on that particular cover. So it's so pretty. I love it. Oh, pricing. So this one, those are just different currencies. So pricing, this is just different currencies. The Thai baht is actually on the back, which is what I actually purchased it for. So it actually came out to about $22. Whereas here on Amazon, it's like $39 to $49. MUJI USA, I want to say it's $35. So pretty nice price break on that. But even the better deal was on the MUJI pens. So I got these. They're in the 0.38. I got these in particular for my Hobonichi Weeks, my scripture writing journal. I love this size pen. So typically on Amazon, I forget what the price is on Amazon, almost $20, I think. On MUJI, I want to say it's like 12 to 15, somewhere in there. These were just a little over $7 in Bangkok. So almost 50% off for the pens, almost 30% off for the actual planner cover. What surprised me is the ruler. So I got this ruler at MUJI, and it has a stainless steel edge on the top and bottom, so you can use a metal blade with it without it slicing into the plastic ruler. This was the exact same price as it is in the US. So I guess it's materials that the tariffs are a little bit different on when we buy these items in the States right now. So those were the price points and differences on these particular items that I bought in MUJI in Thailand. So the next area that we traveled to was about 3 hours south of Bangkok called Hua Hin. It's a quiet beach community. It's not the party scene like, what is it called? Pattaya, something like that. It's a much quieter beach area. We stayed at the resort next door to what's called Monkey Mountain. Thankfully, Monkey Mountain was a little flooded at that time due to an extreme high tide, and the waves were crashing like 4 or 5 steps high, and no one was daring to try it. You just get swept right out to sea. So we didn't do the restaurants down there. Um, some people have had good experiences with the monkeys, others have had scary experiences with the monkeys, so we left the monkeys alone. But they have a cute night market there called Cicada Market, as well as Tamarind. So Cicada is more of the arts and crafts. So they had these beautiful watercolor postcards there. So I picked up some of these. This is Monkey Mountain. Our resort was on the other side of this mountain. And it was just so nice to see the beach and the water. It was all amazing. So there at Cicada Market, I got some stickers. Every restaurant you go to in Thailand has some version of papaya salad. Some are vegan, some have shrimp, some have other types of seafood in it, squid, octopus, or you can just get plain papaya salad. So some of these stickers reminded me of things that we also saw in Bangkok. For example, we saw elephants that had this type of, I don't know what you want to call it, clothing on them with people riding on top of the elephants. And this is in a historic area. It's a UNESCO site. I want to say the name is Atutaya. I'm probably not pronouncing that correct. Ayutthaya. So that was an area that we toured for the history. And then, of course, Thailand right now is known for Mudang. Now, I don't know where Mudang is, so we didn't actually see Mudang, but I thought I would at least get a sticker. We also went to one of the previous king's summer homes. It's a summer palace on the beach on our way down to Hua Hin, and this tree is there. So I got one of those. And then this little house reminded me of our friend's house. One of our tour guides looks very similar to this. It also reminds me of, if you've ever watched the Japanese cartoon called Doraemon, this is like Nobita-kun's house, so really cute. Now, the only thing I want to kick myself for is I'm going to show you a video clip of it. There's this cute little traveler's notebook. I should have gone ahead and picked it up. It was only like $3 or $5, somewhere in there. It had all these stickers of restaurants there in Hua Hin. So the interesting thing about Thailand is it's kind of like the United States. You know, you have in Texas, you have Tex-Mex. In Maine, you've got lobster sandwiches. I forget what those are called. You have clam chowder. Philly, you have Philly cheesesteaks. Um, so Thailand is like that. Depending on the region, the food is different region by region. So I kind of wish I had grabbed it. So when we returned to Bangkok, because we would have to go back to Bangkok to the international airport in order to fly back to the States. So we stayed this time on the other side of the river. So we stayed at the Conrad by Hilton there in Bangkok. And within walking distance, within about 10 minutes walking distance, is this store called Asia Stationery. And it is worth a visit. It was really cute, has a ton of stationery items from Kokuyo, as well as many Japanese brands there. So I just picked up a few items that I hadn't seen here in the States. I saw that Eric Small Things had made some releases. Let's see. So for example, to get these particular enamel pins in the States is really expensive. I want to say it was like $8 there. And of course, I didn't have to pay for shipping. So she had like 4 sets of these, 4 different sets. It was really hard to choose. And maybe I should have gotten the other one that I also liked, but I really tried to restrain myself. So I knew that I would love these because of the ink bottle. And then Kokuyo had gifted me one of these pencil cases before, and then also the little stamp with wax seal on the envelope. Love that. So that's the one I chose. They also have this particular company there, and the items there were just quite a bit cheaper than the States. I want to say, let me see. Yeah, 70 baht. So $3 on these different packages there at that store. So it was amazing, and I want to use these in the little um, traveler's notebook that I'm going to be doing. They also had these by Eric Small Things. Oh, let me see if I can. There we go. So this brings me back to my childhood. This is paper my mom grew up on in Japan, and my grandmother would always mail campus notebooks to me as a kid. If you've never felt their paper, it is like smooth as silk. Absolutely beautiful paper. And it has these little tick marks, kind of breaks up the lines. You can also use them to, draw vertical lines in your notebook. You can date, you can number your pages, whatever you want to do in these notebooks. So these are A5 size. They fit in that MUJI MUJI case that I got. And then they gave me these cute little stickers as well. So it's funny, when I was at the Conrad Hilton, I knew we were going to be leaving. So I kept asking them if they have a souvenir shop. Peninsula had a souvenir shop, and I picked up this bag at the Peninsula gift shop. So I was trying to find something similar at the Conrad. And the employees kept telling me mall, mall. I didn't realize this hotel was attached to a whole mall area. So that one was amazing. They had the cutest Starbucks with the most exclusive items that I had ever seen by Moomin. So I got a couple of items there at the Starbucks. And I also got a couple of those Starbucks coffee cards. One is coffee for Indonesia, and I think the other one's for Vietnam. So I was happy they let me have those, and I was able to take those for my traveler's notebook. I showed them my traveler's notebook, and they were like, oh, take them, take them. So it was really sweet. And then I got a couple of Moomin items for myself, as well as for my mom, and a keychain for my daughter. And then, let's see. And then there was this really cute stationery store. Oh, also, if you're just flying in and you're not adventurous on your food, there is a KFC there, there's a 7-Eleven there, lots of things that we're used to seeing in the States. But then they also have the amazing boba tea and Japanese and Korean um, cafes and shops all inside of this small area. Then there's a souvenir shop, which I highly recommend, called Asia Books. And at Asia Books, I found the cutest little gift bags with tuk-tuks and Bangkok. They have all kinds of stickers. So I had to grab quickly because it was going to be time to leave for our flight. So I don't know how many of these I'll be using, but I saw these and grabbed them. And it was funny because I saw the back side, and based on the back side is why I picked them up. So I thought the stickers were that size, but then when I flipped them over, I noticed that they're actually vinyl stickers that you could put on your luggage, and they're quite large. So I'm happy with the size, and I'm looking forward to putting them on in my traveler's notebook, on the craft folder, as well as inside the inserts itself. Really excited about that. It's also one of the few places that I found a map. So when I do these notebooks, I love to have a map. Worst case scenario, I'll print something off of Google Maps. I'm still planning to print my Google map because I've customized it and tagged it. I'll put a screenshot of it here, with little tuk-tuks. So those are all the different places that I had pinned ahead of time on my Google Maps, so that if I was within walking distance and I'm looking at my map, I could tell if that was a place I had spotted before that I wanted to go visit. Because one thing that happened to me on our last trip to California is there's some things I had scoped out ahead of time, but I had not pinned them on the map. So if I had done that when my cousins and their wives took us to places, I would have seen, for example, a yarn shop that I was interested in. I ended up backtracking a couple of times to places in California because I hadn't marked those places ahead of time. So if there's a travel tip I can give you out of this video is mark those places ahead of time. That way, even if you are on a different tour, if you happen to pass by that place, you know that it's close, and if it's walking distance, maybe someone won't mind if you take a quick detour to a stationery shop or a yarn shop that might interest you as well. So I'll be adding clips of this map into my traveler's notebook. All right, so I saved the best for last. In fact, this just arrived, and I wished I had known about this shop when I was at the Conrad, because I don't think it's that far from the Conrad Hotel where we were staying. It's on that side of the river, which is the same side of the river as the airport. And there's this little shop called Woot Woot. Let me show you the sticker here. So they're in this warehouse and they have all things Travelers Company. So on the outside of the package, they also gave me a stamp with my initial on it, and I'm curious to see what's in this little bag. I literally just got this in the mail. I saw their shop on featured on Travelers Company after I got back to the States, of course. And so I just about cried. I messaged them. I said, is there any way I can place an order with you and you ship to me in the States? And they said, absolutely. So I'm going to tag their Instagram here if you're interested in seeing their little shop and what they have to offer. Pretty much anything you see on their Instagram, they're selling, and they will direct message you with the pricing as well as what it will cost for shipping. So they also sent me these cute little stickers. So they have all kinds of like old ephemera type of stamps and stickers there on location that you can stamp into your notebook. So cute. And so they've carefully packaged it in this craft paper for me. They will, the other thing I was afraid of is I was like, oh boy, you know, we all know about tariffs now. So I was afraid I was going to have this huge fee to pay when it arrived. I didn't have to pay anything. So apparently the shipping price that Woot Woot had quoted me already included them prepaying any necessary tariffs to get the package to me. So I did not pay anything extra when this package arrived, if you're kind of worried about that. Cute. I want to show you everything in here from them. Everything is just so delicately packaged. Let me show you. So cute. All right, let's see what's in here. Open it carefully because I want to use this washi sticker in my notebook. It's gonna work. Yay! It did not tear. Some more stickers. So cute. All right. So there's that one. And this is the picture of the warehouse that they're located in. They're in Bangkok. And this is their logo sticker. Oh, it's so cute. Warehouse 30. And I'll make sure to show you the address too. So this here is a craft envelope. There's nothing in it, but it's great to hold little pieces of ephemera. And again, it has their little warehouse stamp on the front. Love it. All right. So I have to show you what I ordered from them. Okay, this is going to be hard. One of these is going to my aunt because I'm going to make her a small one as well. But oh my goodness, they are so beautiful. So this is the black cover. Again, it shows where they're located, and it's gold foil embossed. And the difference between these, so it says old warehouses, 1925 through 1941, converted into a creative space in 2016, and it's called Warehouse 30. So if you visit Bangkok, I highly recommend you go here. It's just so amazing. Then, as a special, they included the stamp. You can do this stamp yourself when you're there. I requested that they put one in every one of these for me, so that's what they did. So the black one comes with cream paper. The cream cover is copper foil. This is my favorite. It is copper foil and an ivory cover. And again, they did the stamp, and the inside is craft paper. So I know for sure I don't think there's enough pages in here for me to fit my whole trip. So I'll probably be using 2 of these for mine. My aunts are going to, consolidate into one for her. And then this brown one, I want to say it's silver. I want to say it's silver foil. And again, the stamp on the inside. And I know my lighting is terrible in here. It's a thicker white paper. So, oh my goodness, they're beautiful. But by far, my favorite is always craft paper. So this one is my favorite. This is the one I'll be initially building my trip in and probably finishing it off in the black and cream one. And then this is going to be, the brown one will be gifted to my aunt with the ephemera that I've saved for her. All right. Well, have you visited Thailand? What were your favorite places? Did you pick up any stationery items while you were there? I hope you get to bookmark these places. If you have any questions, feel free to ask below, and I'll try to send you the addresses that I do remember or that I can find that I've pinned in my Google. I can try to I think I can make it public, that particular map in Google. So I'll try to make that map public and put the link below if you're curious about wanting to stop at any of those stationery locations on your next trip to Bangkok. So hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one.